Hello, this is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness, and thank you for watching. Today we're talking about Leo, the full moon in Leo that came out on February 14th of 2014. It's in 26 degrees Leo. So what that means in critical diseases, that's funny, degrees, is that there can be a little bit of violence we need to be careful for. Be careful of poison, intoxications, toxins, too much. It could be in the air, either just accidentally or purposefully, but we need to be careful with that, okay? Certain accidents can happen, and we need to remember that. Also, too, is remember the Sabian sign of 27 degrees Leo is daybreak, the dawn. Now, really, daybreak, everybody's going to say, oh, something new, a new beginning. Well, dawn, okay? Dawn's early morning is something that is slowly happening, okay? It's not one minute it's dark and another, woohoo, there's the sun, okay? It's more or less like exactly, just how in sign language, it slowly comes to realization, actualization, and then it goes back down. And so when we have the dawn there, okay, there is a realization, a coming to terms, and a better understanding of something that is going on in our life. So it could be a situation, it could be an adjustment, but it's coming to a realization of its necessary actualization, because if we like it or not, the sun is going to appear. Okay, maybe behind clouds, but the sun is going to come up, or better yet, if you're scientific, the earth is going to rotate. So if we like that or not. Okay, so either way, dawn is going to happen. If we happen to see it or not due to clouds, volcanic ashes, being in a cave, we are rotating and the sun is coming from one side to the next, rising from the east and going down to the west, okay? And it's going to happen. So what is best for us to do in our lives is to learn to adjust, accept that certain things are happening, respect the power in it, and learn to maneuver our lives with it so that way we can get the most out of it and share it with other people. Because the sun does have it gives us vitamin D. We can't live without that. People who are always enclosed, you see them, they don't have that in their skin, they don't have that in their energy, okay? And it is so necessary that we need it to grow for our crops, for our food, well, especially if our food is organic, hopefully, we need it for the animals. So that way we can have this continuous evolution, and the necessity of this earth gives us this spaceship, this Mother Earth spaceship, gives us this continuous place for us to realize, to fulfill certain karmic growths and lessons and objectives so that our souls can reach to the next level, okay? And we all are doing that at different times, different dimensions, but it's happening simultaneously, and we're all interacting like many waves coming at once. Okay, so remember, dawn is not, whoo, here I am, but it's the realization, accepting, and making the best of it, okay? And two, it is slow. It is not something right there, okay? So next thing is to remember, too, that Leo represents the paternal love. It is very the king, grandiose in your face. I am here, look at me. Huh? Okay. Famous kings and emperors. You got Charlemagne, You had other warrior emperors, Alexander the Great. You had the academic ones, Alfredo the 10th, okay? And infamous ones, Henry VIII, all right? So there's different ones, and that can give us ideas. And we have a famous one now, a prince to be king, right? That everybody's been watching, and over there in England. But what is a king? A king has different rules depending upon the phase of its country, what is going on. If there's enough food, if there's enough land, then the king is going to focus on the arts and peace and academics. If there's not enough land and there's not enough food, then you want to go out and conquer to get more for its people. It's really amazing. So depending on what is going on with its family, the king's family, with his people, depends upon what is his focus. And this paternal love, okay, is also they need to accept and respect the love, the authority figure, okay, in our lives. Yet, though, if you are not the reigning person, if you are not the authority person, okay, you also have to understand that Leo represents children. So if you happen to be that, you are going to get a lesson. We are going to get a lesson from children in return. Remember that children learned from their parents, and then comes a certain time we start realizing parents, and I say we because I'm a parent too, we start learning from our children. We have to know when to step out of their battles or their need to grow and just be there to watch and say, okay, if you fall, I'll try and I'm gonna have to let you fall and get hurt, but I'll be there to clean your wounds. And that's very important because a lot of times as parents we want to avoid them from falling. And if you know it's going to be detrimental, you know, there you go. But the more that we fall and deal with that pain, we realize we can handle life better as we get older. It's usually the people who have been too well protected under these overly cushioned and overly medicated and overly sanitized, you know, situations that cannot function in this everyday world, okay? Because they're just like, oh, I didn't expect that. Oh, boo, oh no, my goodness. I touched a knob on the sink and now I'm going to, you know, get the plague. Okay, these exaggerations. And the thing is, too, is when we do focus, remember, what we focus on is what we manifest. All right, so if we're going to focus on all those things, we're going to manifest it. The good thing about having a little bit of obstacles and a little bit of pain early on, I mean, we're not asking to have traumatic, you know, um, abusive pain, but certain things that, you know, as we get older, like a lot of us, like at my age, we already know how it is to have loved our first puppy love. Okay, oh, that's so cute, you know, and the kids are like, they get hurt, and we're like, oh, you get over it. It is so fine, you know, and those kids, they're just in pain tremendously, and you're going, oh no. But the whole thing about that is we do learn, and then they teach us because the world is constantly changing. Earlier today, I was having a discussion with someone, and they were saying, well, isn't it right or wrong? And we used the telephone. And even though I interrupted the person, it brought me to this as an example of nowadays, there is not just the right way to dial on your mobile phone. You can dial from your text messages, you can dial from, you know, your home page there, you can dial from the contacts. But in the olden times, woo, where I was born, okay, the Jetsons times, I should say, in the 70s and 80s, you had one phone, and it was, and there was only one way. You went with each circle, okay? So certain things that were one way and yes and no and black and white and so fixed are now shades of gray these days. And the interesting thing is every generation, that is life and how things work. So we need to remember that and respect that. That's how come kids can teach us. Because sometimes we get stuck in a rut and we do the same thing over and over and over again, okay? It's like the person who eats the same lunch every single day. Not good. This is also a loving time filled with artistic and entertainment, okay, activities and other activities with children. So we're looking at artistic and entertaining, and we're talking about plays and movies and just using our imagination and being way out there and sharing that with one another, okay, and being playful and interacting with the kids. Give them a hug, if anything else. A lot of people don't understand this or know this, but the fifth house also represents smaller domestic pets. So maybe your hamsters, okay, not necessarily your Doberman dogs. No, no, no. That's going to be in your sixth. But your smaller ones. And so this is going to be your, like I said, hamsters, goldfish, your turtles. All right. No, your little sister of 3 months old is not considered, but it fall in for children, you know, but not a pet, okay? So, Also consider that. Remember, Leo loves people. Aquarius loves helping people. There's a difference. Leo loves people because they hope that people love them. Look at me, red carpet time. Aquarius loves people because they want to help them. They want to enlighten them. They want to help them see past the need of needing the king. Leo doesn't like that. Leo loves people because they want the attention. Aquarius is saying, hey, wake up. You know, we don't need the king. And so Leo sometimes has complication with the Aquarius of saying, um, yeah, but what about me? And right now it's not about you. It's about the people. You just happen to have a strong army in the beginning and got everybody involved and said we'll protect you, and now all of a sudden we owe you, you know. And so that's how it goes. If you think of all the serfs of the past time of every dictatorship, right? It says, hey, I got your agenda on my mind. I like it. We both like it. I happen to have a tough army and money to supply it. Come with me. I got your back, I got you covered, and you just work for me more and more and more, okay? And bring me more money, and I live in luxury, and you get to become a voluntary slave. There you go. Are we all happy now? Yes. Unless it's a Leo, unless it's a king who's really interested in helping out the people, enlightening them, and giving them a reason that they don't even need to think of money, but still offers plenitude for their living needs, for their mental needs, for their loving needs, okay, and their emotional growth, then really they're not true kings of heaven like our divine creator, okay? So another thing to remember is at this time Saturn is square both the moon and the sun, which is giving us restraints, okay, bringing us a sense of obligation to this mix of love of the full moon. So even though there's a lot of heartfelt love, there's a lot of felt going, well, you know, I got to, if not, there's going to be a backslap or they're going to give me heck. And let's be honest, Saturn's about lessons and obligations happening in Scorpio. So a lot of people are, unfortunately, really projecting a lot of love in their intimate relationships, more or less because they want to hopefully get some sex. It is what it is. Sorry, sorry to be so blunt. Okay, and a lot of times there's going to be a complication in that. There might be a lot of love to offer, but there's going to be some kind of restraint because Saturn is in Scorpio, creating opposition with that. Don't worry, it doesn't last that long. Okay, so also remember that Pluto is conjunct Venus in Capricorn, meaning there are certain psychological issues coming up with love too. Dealing with the traditional, is the traditional really necessary? Is it still fulfilling my needs? Also remember too is Pluto is the phoenix. It's a lot of people like to think of Pluto as death. No, it's bringing out and transforming. And so it's giving us a chance to transform what is traditional way of thinking of love. And it's very also important because you need to understand that in that sense you have a Pluto that is that is going to say we need to love a certain way. And Venus represents, if you're female, how you show love. But if you're a male, how you want love to be shown to you. Okay? So it's very different. Remember, when we interpret people's charts, it's different for males and females, most definitely. That's why gender is very pertinent in identifying that. Okay? So, and in this case, being in Capricorn, it's going to be a little bit different. Now, also remember that the Sun is conjunct Mercury right now in Aquarius. So we're having a lot of logical conversations. Being logical is necessary. Thinking and being altruistic and thinking of others and reform and helping people move ahead. And also being one, okay, with the divine creator, the universe, the fifth dimension, all those aspects, okay? And also, too, since Mercury is in retrograde, yes, it's still in retrograde. We are not yet buying new computers, technologies. I know Costco, Best Buy, and all the telephone services are going to be mad at me right now. Wait until after the 28th of this February, okay? Because anything you buy during the retrograde, if it's technology, communications, electronics, and travel like cars will have their setbacks. If you are doing a major contract, doing your taxes at this time, remember, buying a house, anything signed, legally signed during this time will have to be reviewed. Okay, so make sure that if you are doing some kind of contract during this time of Mercury retrograde, it's a short-term one that you can know that either way it's going to be need to be reviewed in the future. Okay, so I'm moving right along here. Is and remember too that with the Sun conjunct Mercury is siblings, and it's with the Sun. It is a time to remember that it is not just being our divine Creator's son, that is wonderful. It is the daughters and son. A lot of times people where Christianity really focuses on the patriotic religions and sanctions and idealisms without really giving the divine feminism its due credit, understanding that true, Jesus could have come or is from the divine creator, and but without one, there doesn't exist the other. Okay, so if you remember, males have X and Y, females have XX. So what does that say? What does that tell you? Okay, without the X, we cannot ask why. And without asking why, then we don't know why we are. Hmm? Wonderful. So let's continue. We got Jupiter in trine right now, Chiron, and it's a time to heal, heal, heal. And it's a healing time, very nice because it's in Cancer. And so what it's saying there, and also Chiron being in Pisces, is that it's universal. It's bringing in all the love from the water. The water, the oceans, has so many different living creatures, and not just, I mean, we're talking about plants too, algae, even rocks have energy. And the nice thing too that water does, it's very healing, and different waters have different healing properties, and they leave behind. Over there in Pakistan, we have the Dead Sea, and here I have an example of the Himalayan salt rocks, that the water no longer exists, but it left behind a wonderful healing attribute. Okay, and that helps us alkalize our body. I know I was needing it a lot earlier this week. Okay, and so what it does to remember, it's allowing us to create a universal, all right, being, and expanding our families because it's in Cancer, and expanding ourselves by healing and being compassionate, because the more we are going to continue to hurt because obstacles have to happen for us to grow. If we consider saying, oh, why do bad things happen to me? No, bad things is your perspective. Okay, obstacles have to happen for us to grow, otherwise it becomes mundane. All right, and it doesn't have as much of a thrill as before. So we have to have new thrills, we have to grow, so that way we can enjoy and share so much more. Okay, um, remember this too, is this is giving us a chance to heal many generations back. Okay, because what is in our DNA, and yes, DNA, if you doubt about the truth of your DNA, look at curly hair. I have curly hair, my grandmother has curly hair, my biological father has curly hair, and my son has curly hair. You could blame it on me, I could blame it on both sides. Either way, the point is that certain things are in our DNA, and certain perspectives too. Okay, and that's very important, because sometimes we say, oh no, but let me tell you, sicknesses only run in our genes when it's because we do the exact same silly thing that got our ancestors sick in the first place. Okay, and all right, we have the same mentality, which means same perspectives, which are creating those. Okay, I'm going to move right along here. We also have Uranus square Jupiter right now at 1110 degrees, and this is a time that's allowing us to, a lot of wet weather is occurring. We heard the East Coast, even over there south, oh my goodness, a lot of snow, a lot of snow, a lot of snow. Have you guys seen those weather channels? I can't even fathom that, but you know what? I'm going to be jumping into that. Uh, Most of you guys don't know, but I'm letting you know. I'm going to be moving in a few weeks to my new home with my wonderful, loving man and my son. Hopefully he'll stay with us for a few months to Kentucky. So this is going to be a first for me living in Kentucky. And just know that I am still available Skype. I'm still available long distance healing. I'm still available through phone and emails. A lot of you do have worked with me long distance healing and have found it very effective. And thank you very much. I'm sorry, I'm just not available for massages for those people outside of Kentucky, okay? But I'm excited, and this is one of the good things about bringing it up is because Uranus is an Aries, so we're going to be a leader in a new area where it's going to allow us to expand our family. Jupiter being in Cancer. And so this is interesting because it's hitting right there my ascendant, just an example there. So I am feeling I'm going to be expanding there also. And are going to not just show that, but it's going to give us an opportunity to share. Now, a lot of people think Aries as the warriors. Remember, warriors didn't just kill, but they also were the ones that commenced new civilizations or merged civilizations, okay? The areas that they conquered. And usually what they conquered was a force need of saying, take our perspective in, take in our culture, and pay us some money. But nowadays, we don't do it that way. We have a nice, loving way of sharing ourselves. And that is something to remember and give us that opportunity. Again, I want to remind you that Mercury retrograde, okay, is still happening on. Please, if you can avoid no traveling on the 28th once again. So do not leave on the 27th and then it turns 28th and you're in the air. It's just one of those critical degrees that it falls on. It's best to avoid it. Call me superstitious. Hey, you know, if that's been the most air crashes, I do it if I can fly the day before, the day after, okay? So, wonderful. And now I'm going to start with the where it's going to affect you most, okay? And let me write down the time there. Okay, so real quickly, Aries, this is happening all in the full moon in their fifth house of children, romance, okay, having fun, entertainment. So you're seeing some expansions, you're seeing some restrictions. It's going back and forth. It's to be typical, but you love it because you want action and you're just enjoying it. So project that, see it, really take advantage of it. Taurus, this is happening in your fourth house of family, so you're seeing changes happening in the basis of your family, in your home, you know. Also remember, too, that it could be regarding your mother or the female authority in your lifetime. Gemini, this is happening in your section of communication. Remember, communication is not just verbal. It's also hand languages, you know. Hey, and wait, maybe I shouldn't do that because I know in some countries that's also the same as read between the lines, right? You know, and so making sure that communication is clear. I know that, hey, we say, hey, you know, very smart. In certain places in Europe, that means you're crazy. Okay, so someone looks at you and go, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, thank you. And they're like, okay, now we really know that you're, you know. So anyway, communications, technology and stuff, also beginning education. Maybe you're going back and taking classes, you know, relearning things. And it could be that you're teaching yourself, which is always a good thing. Cancer, this is about your finances, expanding your self-worth. What is your self-worth? How are you showing the world who you are? Okay, now remember, this is going to expand and yet restrict. Expand yet restrict. This is not a full moon where it just says cut, no more. There's an expansion and restriction, or my hand's doing the opposite. Yes, huh? I know, it's so funny how I do that. Okay, expansion, restriction, expansion, restriction. Okay, and so just recall that. So make sure you're not going overboard and making sure that you're using your finances for things that are that you need right now and that you can't do later. Again, Leo, this is in your first house, so the way you come off, the way you present yourself, okay? Remember that also can be having a partner because who you're walking with is the way you resemble. How you're changing your style, it could be your physical, and also the way, you know, you are mentioning your importance. Virgo, this is in your 12th house of secrets, of healings, of certain institutions. So remember that there's a time to take a step back and to say, okay, let me come back into my own. Very important. And then we also have Scorpio in your 10th, Libra, sorry, in your 11th house of friends and goals. So you're seeing that expand and you're having more and more. And that is good because maybe you had it a little bit too narrow and now you can see it opening up more. And that's going to be fun because Libra just loves people, can't be alone. Okay, and now we have Scorpio, 10th house. And 10th house is going to be the way you present yourself to others in your display, public display, work. Maybe your public image is going to be different because of something that happens in newspaper or something like that, or something that's happening in your career. But one way or another, it is going to, oh, sorry, is going to change in a little bit. Sagittarius is going to be all about fun, traveling, expanding, woohoo, okay? In fact, if you got an airplane, I'm out there with you, all right? And so, and widening your horizons. Capricorn, this is other people's money, okay? Taxes, okay, and also to maybe how you used to communicate or interact intimately is going to be changing also. Might have become more restricted now for one reason or another. Someone is leaving your life, okay? And also know, Aquarius, that it's happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So remember, there's expansion and restriction, so be careful. Make sure that any kind of partnership you go into is not going to be really restrictive. Though knowing you, Aquarius, I do have an Aquarius moon, we feel that just any kind of partnership is kind of a little bit restrictive. But we have to know that also too is partnerships help us grow. And the restriction can help us understand and communicate and help others better. And maybe it's not really restrictive, but it's just adding to us. It's just not allowing us to do exactly what we want to do when we want to do it and how we want to do it. We might have to consult someone. Okay. Anyway, and Pisces, this is in your 6th house of health. Drink, 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 drink. Water, teas, okay? Carrot juice, very healthy for you. Eat a lot of fish. Get in, start walking more, and hug a tree, swim, swim, swim. Play in the snow if you're there in the winter, okay? And you can't swim. I don't want you falling in the ice and saying, well, she said I had to swim, and, you know, something ridiculous. Okay, otherwise I'm going to have to put that, this is for entertainment purposes only, to cover myself. All right? So, I thank you for watching. Just to recap real quickly, very important, you know, this is a full moon of expansion and restriction. It's not just one or the other. Most full moons are. Also remember that we are coming into Saturn being retrograde from March 2nd all the way through the 20th of July, so another time not to sign anything major. Jupiter turns is still retrograde until the 3rd of, the 6th of March, and Mars goes into retrograde. Check those brakes, please. Check the brakes of your cars, please, 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 especially if you're in watery areas. Just in general, everybody, just go make the automotive companies happy and all those mechanics, and get those brakes checked because Mars does rule brakes, and if it's retrograde, we want them working, okay? And real quickly, Venus does go into Aquarius the 5th, 6th of March, which is going to be really nice. At least I know for me because they'll hit my moon. Okay, so once again, I did mention that I am moving, but I'm still available for you. I'm keeping my same phone number. I'm keeping my same emails. I'm keeping my same Skype, you know. And so none of that is changing except the location, and that meaning also too I'll be working a lot, it seems like, with a lot of Civil War soldiers of helping them cross over, and a lot of people over there, and I'm very, very excited. I have been in California for most of my life, and like someone asked me, why am I going to Kentucky? I said, because the past found me. Finally. It's better late than never, even if it's 20 years. And I'm very, very thankful. I'm thankful for all of you guys for always supporting and watching me wonderfully. Thank you. This is Sirena Nereida with Celestial Soul Wellness. Thank you again.